There we go. So continuing on with the study of the yamas and the niyamas, the next of the niyamas, or the kind of personal virtues that we're cultivating, is Santosha. And the word means contentment all about, or contentment everywhere, contentment within. And I think, we're always striving for contentment, and often it's elusive for much of the time. I don't think our culture in America does a very good job of cultivating contentment. We are always taught bigger, better, more, now, faster, and the grass is always greener, keep up with the Joneses. All these mentalities tend to not coincide well with the feeling of contentment. And there's a few things that I think happens to us. First, in the Yoga Sutra, they talk about the kleshas, which are the causes, the root causes of our suffering. And two of them, one is our desire to seek pleasure, and the other is to avoid suffering, to avoid anything that is not pleasurable to us, not necessarily suffering, but anything that we have disdain for. So when we have this in our nature, that we want to seek what we love and we want to avoid what we don't like, when we're trapped in this, we don't get to feel content very often, because when we do find something pleasurable, it doesn't last. And then we're always seeking. So this sense of learning to let go of the attachment to our desires is a really profound thing that's very difficult. It's not something that we're even aware of a lot of the time, that we are having desires. Sometimes a lot of this happens on a very subconscious level. So the first thing to do is to kind of bring our awareness and our attention up to the way our mind gets disturbed by trying to avoid the things we don't like, and trying to catch on and grab and hold the things that we like. So, what ways does that show up for you? It could be something simple like averting, like not wanting to eat something on your plate, right? Like it could be like, I don't like this food, I do like this food. But it could be something much more humane and profound, such as, do you avert your eyes to the homeless person that you see because it's difficult to watch someone who might be suffering in a way that you don't quite understand? It might be very attractive to have ease in our life constantly and avoid the conflict or the challenges that we need to face to move through our life. So this is the way that we learn to step out of our comfort zone in order to grow. So contentment sometimes has the misconception of, I'm just going to be where I'm at. I'm not going to change anything. I'm settling for this little place right here and right now in our mind or body or whatever. And really, that's not what contentment is about. Stepping outside of our comfort zone can enhance a lot of growth potential within us. So it's not the same as complacency. Contentment is not the same as complacency. So really, it's about letting go of expectations, letting go of outcomes, and reaching toward gratitude. So when we seek gratitude and we let it stream through us on a very regular basis, we tend to be content more with whatever we are experiencing. So that's one of the skills that you can gain, is to not only notice where you're pleasure seeking and avoiding, but how do you cultivate gratitude in your life on a regular basis. And then the other thing to think about, two more things. One, there's a lot of getting ready in our society, even as little kids. I don't know if your children did this at all, or if you did this when you were a child, but my two daughters, sometimes when they would play, most of the fun was getting the whole world organized, right? Like they would set up a schoolhouse, or they would set up their dolls into this whole little world. And it was the getting ready that really got them going. And then once they were like all set with everything, they're like, oh, on to the next thing sometimes. And so I think we often spend a lot of our time just seeking what's next. When I reach this milestone, then when I get done with work, then when I get to have a vacation, when I retire, when I get done with this project, when I lose 20 pounds, when I fix my bum knee, when, like it's always in the future that we have this expectation that happiness will come, instead of just allowing it to be within the moment. So Santosha is really this eye of the storm, to feel a sense of joy and happiness in your life in the moment, regardless of the circumstances that you find yourself in. And this is really where gratitude sets the tone for being able to do this. And then lastly, we need to take responsibility for our own reactions. So when we have disturbance in the mind, we can say, oh, that person really annoyed me, or that circumstance got me ruffled, or that person brought out my fire and I lost my temper, or whatever. And we kind of look outward to find a responsible party for our inner turbulence. But really, the inner turbulence is our own job to take care of. It's our own house to clean out. So when you find yourself having those moments of pleasure seeking or yuck avoiding in whatever way it shows up for you, or if you find yourself having desire or being jealous or angry or just unhappy with the moment, can you turn inward and seek, what am I responsible for in this moment? How am I responsible for my reaction to this moment? And what can I do in this moment to change? So it puts the mantle of responsibility back onto ourselves to find peace and contentment, instead of looking toward external circumstances to provide that for us. All right, so I think that's all I have to say about contentment. Let's go ahead and sit up straight and tall. And can you find some contentment in your body as you sit? So our practice, as always, our yoga practice, as always, is the playground for all of this work that we're doing to practice. Okay, so it's a practice. All right, so as you sit up straight and tall, can you melt a bit into your body? Can you drop your awareness enough into the physical here? So you just pay attention, notice. This might be, excuse me, the first moment today that you've paused and turned your attention inward. So what are you finding? Are you content in your body? Let's just start with your body. Are there places in your body that feel a sense of unease in some way? Do you have pain or tension? Do you have a sense of dislike or wishing things were different in your physical body? And if you find those seeds of discontent, what can you do to change your mind, right? To shift your focus, to feed yourself gratitude? What are you grateful for in your body right now? What are you able to observe and accept instead of wanting to change? And then melt a little bit more. See if you can feel your eyes relax, your jaw, your tongue, the base of your skull. And begin to focus on your breathing. The gift of the breath is never somewhere else, it's always here. So when you find yourself in a turbulent state of discontent, can you train your mind to bring itself into the breath, body, into the present moment, and offer gratitude? So you can do this alone as a little practice of when you find turbulence, pleasure seeking, avoiding what you don't want, never feeling like you arrived, sense of discontent, whatever it is. If you find those disturbances and you're aware of them, can you just simply find the practice of coming home to the breath? And when you rest within the breath, and in this moment, offer gratitude. When you're ready, place your hands to your heart and offer an intention. Let's release the hands and find our way onto our back. Right, so as you come onto your mat, lie down and notice what changed just by lying down. Start to pay attention to the very subtle things that you can be grateful for in your body. Maybe just the way the breath can fill up when you reach your arms overhead. Maybe it's the feeling of being able to rest on the ground. Maybe some part of you is able to feel free and open. Kind of let's stretch and move. You can reach the right side, reach the left side, just enjoy. Okay. And then bring your knees into your chest. So just feeling that sense of rocking, even the rocking in itself. There's nowhere to go, there's nowhere to be, there's nothing we have to accomplish in our practice. We're just in the presence of our breath and body. So as you find yourself rocking left and right, what are you grateful for the sensations that you're feeling? Can your head rest more? Can your eyes ease up? All right, and then let's circle the knees, hold on to them, keep them in your hands and keep them together and circle one direction, just feeling your back soften and relax. Going the other direction, feeling your knees swing the other way. And then open up your knees away from the midline and then back toward. Just finding that sense of what's opening in your hip joints. Can you feel your inner thighs open up a little bit? What feels good in your range of motion? Even if you have pain, can you celebrate the range of motion? All right, let's put your left foot down, right thigh over left thigh. Draw your knees into your chest and feel free to be very still. Feel free to move in any way that feels good. And if you can, drop your tailbone, sit bones get wide, heavy, heavy head. And then stretch open, starfish your body out, take a deep breath, reach into your limbs, exhale, knees into your chest, head comes up. Release your head down, right foot down, left thigh over right thigh, knees draw in. Feel free to rock a little bit if it feels nice. Feel free to dip the tailbone down, wide sit bones.
Whatever you're doing, get heavy in your head. Let it relax as best as you can. And then release. Bring your legs straight up in the air. Reach your arms overhead or out to the sides or down, your choice. And while we're here, we're going to flex and point our toes. Start to feel your core wake up. Feel free to roll your ankles around while you're here, getting some of that fascia to move in your feet and your lower legs. Breathing well. And the knees coming back in. Stretch your left leg long on the ground. Right knee hugs in snug. Give it a good squeeze. And then left knee in. Give your right leg a lot of length. Left knee squeezes in. And then we're going to just go back and forth a little bit, a couple of times, a little faster. So left knee, right knee. Just feeling like you're just waking up the center of your body a little bit, a little core engagement. Feel your breath. And then release that. Stretch your limbs like a star. Reach out big and wide. Roll your ankles, roll your wrists, whatever feels good. And then exhale, knees into your chest. Head comes up. Release your head down one more time. Arms out to the sides, feet wide on the mat. And just rock left and right, just awakening some of the twisting potential in your spine. Feeling that stretch in the outer hip or the side body, wherever you're feeling it. Heavy, heavy head. You can turn your head in opposition of your knees if you'd like. All right, and then take the soles of your feet together and let your knees fall out to the sides. And just have a moment to let your body sink into Supta Baddha Konasana. A full breath in. A full breath out. Of course, support under your knees if you need it. And then release your legs. Let's bring your knees in over to the side you go, and then come up onto your hands and your knees. So as you find all fours, let's enjoy. Okay, so moving through some cat-cows, rounding the spine, arching the back, taking your time. And then feel free to wag your tail or move your spine about any way that feels really good in your body. Rolling through your rib cage. Moving your hips, moving your head around. All right, and then stretch back towards child's pose. Take your hips back toward the heels. Walk those hands forward. Let your neck soften, your skull relax. A deep breath in, a deep breath out. And then let's walk our hands over to the side, either side. Just feel into that sense of stretching the side body. Can you be content with where you are in your physical practice? Can you just enjoy one pose at a time? No expectations that we're going anywhere. What would happen if I just said, okay, time for Shavasana right now? Would you be able to pivot and just let go of the practice that's coming and allow yourself to deeply rest? You know, how many times, go ahead over to the other side, how many times have your plans shifted outside of your control and you've just had to let go? You just had to let go of wishing things were different than they are. And then come back to center, up onto all fours. Again, let's have a big twist here. Reach your left arm up high to the sky, open the chest, exhale and drop that shoulder down. Let your head relax. Breathe into the back of your body, a nice, easiness in your neck. And inhale, Reach that arm back up. Hand comes down. Second side, arm up. Exhale. Glide that arm through. The neck is soft. Surrender as best as you can. Breathing deeply. If you are ready, lift that arm back up. Hand comes to the ground. Move around any way you want, and then find your way up to dog pose. So as you find that posture that we're off the ground now, so take your time. Pedal your feet, feel your hands on the ground. Notice sensation, how good it feels to be in your body. You have gratitude for something very specific in your body. Maybe you were able to accomplish something this morning because your body worked. Let's just have deep gratitude for the ease in which we go about our day most of the time, right? Yield and push up and reach through the body. Let your neck soften and melt. Move around any way you want. How's your breathing? Can you experience gratitude every time you step into a new pose? So now step forward into Uttanasana and find something to be grateful for here. You can keep letting your neck relax as much as you want. Dangle it. You can feel any movement in your hips, your shoulders, anything that you want in this posture. Let your body intuit what feels right. A halfway lift when you feel ready, the spine gets longer. All right, breathe, release, relax your head, drop your seat and rise up, coming up to stand. Bring the arms up to the sky, big breath, open your chest, lean back a little bit if it feels good, spread open your wings. And then arms coming back up again and relax them down at your sides. Shake out your hands, interlace your hands behind you, come forward, open your chest, relax your neck, arms lift away from your spine. Full breaths here. And then release your hands down. A halfway lift, the spine grows. Melt and fold again. Step back to a plank. Have that sense of sturdiness and stability where we have a grounding, supportive feeling in our body. Okay, what's working here? Can you feel that core stabilize you and support you? All right, when you're ready, put your knees down, find the ground, roll the shoulders a few times here so you feel that sense of opening. And inhale, come to a cobra pose. Exhale, release back down. Second time, rising up. Melt again. This time we're going to find this with no hands. So hover your hands off the floor. Pull your elbows back toward your hips. Engage your core. Feel the muscles along your spine. Work for the posture. Keep your neck loose and soft. And then melt and relax. Up onto all fours. Swish about in your spine if it feels good, arching, rounding, whatever feels nice. And then let's take our right foot forward and our left foot comes back. Keep your back knee on the ground. So if you need a little padding, take a little padding underneath it. Just feel the hip flexor open and stretch in that back leg. We're going to keep the knee down if you're comfortable. Of course, you can lift it up if you're not comfortable. Rising. Arms to the sky. A big breath here. Maybe take your right hand on your thigh so you can stretch that left arm up and over. Feel the hip flexors, feel the side body. And then cross your forearm to your knee. Other hand, right hand on your side. Lift your spine and open up the hip flexors a little differently. Spread your collarbones as best as you can. All All right, back up, two arms to the sky. Hand comes down, hands comes down onto the blocks. Okay, lift your back knee up and let's start to feel your hamstring get open as well. So straightening the front knee and bending, finding the breath, breathing well, back and forth, feeling that sense of movement where your breath is helping you flow. And then as you're ready, ground again. Still the same leg forward. Rise up, crescent lunge. Bring the arms up. Now maybe you want them different. Maybe what's going to give you a sense of contentment. So remember, contentment is not the same as complacency. So if you kind of know yourself, like, oh, I just don't really feel like doing that, I'm going to keep my arms down. That might be a cue. No, let's try something different. Maybe we'll bring arms a little higher. But if you bring your arms up and you can't breathe, that's not contentment either. See what it can feel like to open yourself up for breath. So you're balancing effort and ease. Know yourself. Do you tend to shy away from effort? If so, bring effort into your postures. If you shy away from ease, then bring more ease into your postures. Seek the balance for yourself moment by moment. Hands come down, back foot comes forward, fold, relax your neck. And some days, are a little more sattvic than other days. So some days you might have that very high rajasic energy where you come into a halfway lift, where you have energy to burn, but lots to spare, and you feel very vigorous and alive in your practice. And there's other days when you're feeling more tamasic and you have that kind of sluggish energy that you need more rest. So, what is the balance point for you to be able to balance those energies out? One more time, halfway lift, extend through the spine, exhale, and melt and fold. Left foot is forward, right foot is back, knee comes down on the ground. Feel into the openness of that hip flexor, enjoy it. Notice if the two sides feel different from each other. Do you have a sense of strain on any hip, any one hip, to see where you can do the best to find that balance state again. So press your front heel and back knee toward each other, hug to the midline, reach your right arm up in the air, maybe up and over a little bit if it feels good to stretch through that side body. Relax your neck, melt what you can. And then let's cross the forearm over to the thigh, left hand on your thigh to help lift your spine. Keep the collarbones broad. Hug the inner thighs toward the midline. Press your front foot into the ground. And then release your hands back down onto the blocks. Lift your back knee up off the ground. And let's bend and straighten your front knee. Okay. So we're moving with breath. Find your way into your flow. Feeling that sense of ease come over you, a sense of strength supporting you. You feel ready, ground your legs, rise on up. Again, are you having a day where you need the upward lift of your arms? Are you having a day where you need a little bit more softness? Listen to your breath. Feel into the gratitude of your practice, the gratitude to your body, gratitude for the depth of your breath. Release your hands down. Bring your front foot back. Dog pose again. Lengthen through your spine. Relax your neck. Full breaths in and out. Inhale, come forward into a plank. Lower yourself down. Take your arms down at your sides, palms facing the ground. Everything lifts up. Feel that back body support. Exhale and melt. Up onto your hands and your knees. Wag your tail, loosen your back. When you're ready, right leg straight out behind you. Engage your glutes, press your left shin into the ground, support with your core, left arm out in front of you. Thumb up, right toes down. Take a deep breath in. As we're ready, exhale, hug your elbow and knee underneath you. Inhale to bring it out. We're gonna go out to the side, arm and leg out to the side. Feel that stabilization of the center, back to the long line. Exhale, knee and elbow underneath you. Inhale, bring it long. Exhale, bring it out, toes down, thumb up. Inhale, bring it to the neutral line. Exhale, hand and knee down onto the ground. Move your hips about, move your head about. Loosen up the breath again. When you're ready, left leg straight behind you, toes down. Stabilize your core, right arm out in front of you, thumb up. Find the stability here before we move. Feel that wrapping of your core. When you're ready, deep breath in and lengthen. Exhale, elbow and knee to touch. Inhale, bring it out. Exhale, out to the sides. Leg out, arm out, thumb down, or thumb up, toes down, back to center. Exhale, hug underneath. Inhale, bring it out. Exhale, out to the side. Feel your core. Bring it back. Hands, knee down, child's pose. Relax your neck. A full inhale, a full exhale. And lifting to dog pose. Strong, long spine, yield and push. Reach through your body. We're going to lift the right leg up in the air. Pulse your leg a couple of times, finding that breath. Take a deep inhale. As you're ready, knee to the center of your chest, shoulders over wrists. Follow your breath out. Inhale, bring it back up. Let's bring your foot forward. Come to a lunge, plant your back heel down on the ground. Rise up, Virabhadrasana 1. Arms coming to the sky, or if you need a different plan, arms going somewhere else. You can lean forward a little bit if your back needs support. Ground into both legs well. As you're ready, lean forward again. Bring the hands onto the blocks, hop up into half splits. Square up the hips. Let that leg pulse a couple of times in the air. Deep breaths. Now come up onto your right toes. Be careful on the blocks, make them stable. Lift onto your right toes, heel comes up. Now see if you can keep the hip as high as it is right now as you drop your heel back down. Lift the leg in the air. A big giant step back, Virabhadrasana 1, one more time. Arms come up, open the chest. Exhale, hands down onto the ground, dog pose. A full breath here. Inhaling, exhaling. What are you grateful for? Are you seeking contentment in the mind? Are you seeking contentment in the body? Notice the turbulence when it arrives in your mind or body. Feed yourself breath, present moment awareness, and gratitude when you find yourselves turbulent. Come forward into a plank. Inner thighs lifting, find your breath. Maybe we come halfway to chaturanga and up to up dog, otherwise come to the ground for a cobra. Big open chest. When you're ready, back to dog pose. A full inhale. Let your mouth go, let your tongue release, let your eyes go on your breath out. Left leg on your next inhale. Lift your left leg up in the air, pulse it a couple times, feel your glutes turn on. Now as you're ready, exhale, knee to your chest. Bring that leg back up. And bring your foot forward. Come to a lunge, back heel roots down. Find your stability before you rise up. When you're ready, Virabhadrasana 1 can look so many different ways. So your arms can be overhead. You can be leaning forward with your arms back. You can have your arms out. Your palms can be to your heart. So it gives you a sense of grounding and stability, but also a sense of freedom and lightness through your heart. Breathe well. All right, and then experience that half splits. Lean forward, hop up onto your left foot, hands on stable blocks, right leg behind you. Square your hips. Find your breath. You can pulse that leg in the air a couple times if you'd like. Okay. And then let's lift onto the toes here. Lift your hip. And keeping that hip lifted, start to descend the heel. Lift the hip, lift the hip. Lift that back leg in the air. And then a big giant step back. Plant the heel down. Again, rising up to Virabhadrasana 1. Arms can go anywhere. Bend into that front knee, stabilize your legs, so ground into both feet. And then release the hands, walk your back foot forward. Come into Uttanasana, let your neck go. A halfway lift. And then relax. We're going to come up to stand. You can choose to put a block between your thighs if you like to do chair pose with blocks. For some people, that's very stabilizing for the hips and knees and SI joints. If you don't need a block, then by all means, you don't need a block. Okay? If you're not using a block, you can have your toes together or your feet apart, whichever feels good. Lift your arms into the position you want, maybe overhead, maybe out. Where do you want to be? Squat down into your chair. So whatever you're doing with your arms, find what's going to give you freedom for your breathing. If you find turbulence coming into the mind or breath, hone the skill of being able to breathe into the present, to settle yourself into your breath, and to seek gratitude in whatever the pose offers. And while we're here, we're going to come up onto our toes, come off your heels, seek a little bit of that balance, slowly rising up onto your toes. Find your breath, straight legs, heels come down onto the ground. Pause here for a moment. Gather your breath. Notice your grounding, that feeling of stability and sturdiness that Tadasana offers you. Take the block out if you are still using the block. We're going to come into Virabhadrasana 3. For many people, this pose is tricky. So if you remember that the pose can be right here, that you do not have to tip all the way over to be parallel with the ground for this pose to be a quote unquote success. All right, so what we're looking for is that long line in the body. So the core that we've woken up, let that be a part of your posture. Okay, I always like to start this from Virabhadrasana 1 or crescent lunge, whichever is comfortable for your body. When you plant your right foot, ground it. Look at it. Make sure it's really where you want it to be. Reach the arms up, find your breath, and then tip forward. Come up onto that right leg. Now you can have your arms back at your sides, out to the sides, palms together, or arms out in front of you. And once again, you can be tipped forward just a little bit, like here, and keeping that long line in the spine. You do not have to be all the way parallel to the floor for this posture to serve you. So feel your glutes working for the pose, engage your core, focus your attention on something that doesn't move below on the ground, and breathe. If you're wobbly, be okay with the wobbles. See if you can find contentment within the turbulence. If you have to drop your foot down, try to be kind to yourself. There's no judgments about what we can and cannot do. Back to Virabhadrasana 1. Arms come up, feet closer together, hip width apart, palms at your heart. All right, let's pause here and have gratitude for the ease of two legs on the ground. Balance poses, so good to do a little bit of balancing every day. If you can, kind of training our vestibular system to support us under all sorts of circumstances. And it's one thing to feel imbalance in the body. It's a whole nother thing to feel a sense of imbalance in your mind or in your heart, your emotional states. So practice the physical to help us, allow us to be able to be comfortable in the uncomfortable in our mind and emotional states. Okay, let's go ahead and drop that foot back, left foot forward now. Come into Virabhadrasana 1 or any variation of a posture that helps you move into Virabhadrasana 3. Your arms can come up, out, or down, whatever feels good. And then bend that front knee. We're going to hop up, coming into Vira 3. Now, the arms back tends to be easiest on the spine. Arms out is really nice for balance. Arms forward gives you this sense of a lot of length in your body. Find the core support. No matter what you're doing, find your way into the support of the pose. Gaze softens. Turbulent body, turbulent mind. Be responsible for your reactions to this. Treat yourself kindly. Gratitude, breath, present moment. And then a big giant step back. Arms up or out. Hands down. Dog pose. When you come closer to the earth and have 4 points of contact, enjoy the comfort of support. Find your way onto all fours. And then to the ground when you feel ready. I'm going to take the arms, again, you have choices. You can take the arms out in front of you, out to the side, or down at your sides. So make a choice for your body. Okay. We're going to lift the right arm and the left leg. Find that support, try not to fall into the ground. Hug in. And then exhale and release. Other side. Feel that cross hemisphere work in the body and brain. And then exhale and release. One more time each side. Arm and leg, opposite leg lift, core is engaged. Exhale and surrender. One more time. Come back and relax for a moment. Put your head on your hands. Pick up your feet and swish, swish left to right. Scoot over to the right side of your mat. Bring your left knee high up toward your chest. Forearms on the ground like Sphinx, but stay a little lower. And just drop some weight into that hip. Let it stretch open a bit. Then we're going to cross the right arm over to the left and a big open chest stretch here. Let the knee leave the ground. Try to get the backs of the hands on the earth. Come back. Scoot over to the other side. Bring that knee up. Forearms on the ground. Just let yourself rest here for a moment. Feel that compression in the hip joint. And then as you feel ready, cross the arm over to the right, left arm over to right, and swing open for the twist. Let your head relax onto the ground. Let the backs of the hands rest on the ground. Let your knee leave the floor, whatever amount you need. Feel your breath move into the twist well. All right, coming back. Coming up onto all fours. Move the spine. Move your hips, sway from side to side. grab a block if you want. So here we're back to that sense of letting the posture be active or passive, depending on your needs for the day. So you're going to come into bridge pose and you can decide whether you want to do it actively. You can put a block between your thighs if you want, no block at all. Or you can do it passively where you're putting a block across your sacrum underneath your sacrum. So your choice. You can even do both a little bit if you want to, but find your way into the posture. Breathe your way here. Feel that sense of symmetry. Ground your feet. Feel both sides of your pelvis kind of hug onto your sacrum. Fill your breath up. Then melt your pelvis down. Breathing well. Relax your neck. We're going to twist a little bit. So as your knees go left, head goes right. And then pick up your knees as your knees go right, head goes left. One more time each side. Okay, so let's stretch our hips. There's so many ways to go about stretching your hips. What's your favorite? And not to say you should always do your favorite. Sometimes you should do the one you don't like. Right? So reverse pigeon pose, fire log pose, thigh over thigh pose. There's just so much. So choose the pathway that you want to do today. There's no pose that's better than any other pose. Imagine your practice as being free from the expectations that you put upon it sometimes. So if you were only to follow the interest of the mind body in the moment and not the expectations or judgments of the past and future, if you really were just listening to calibrate according to your energy level, your emotional states, the turbulence in your mind, the physical needs of the body, if those really truly were the guiding lights of your practice, what poses and how within the poses do you work? So it's hard sometimes for us to get to this place where we have all the foam of other demands influencing our decisions, influencing our thoughts while we're in our practice. So do your best to let your practice be free of desires or avoidances, to let your practice be free of turbulence, be free of expectations, be free of comparisons or judgments. Try to allow your yoga practice to be a sanctuary for the moment at hand. For taking yourself, your mind, your body, your spirit into the fold and caring for yourself for the needs that are now. Breathe. When you feel ready to change to the other side, no matter what posture you're doing, let's change to the other side. Let's find our way out of the second side. Now we have a few minutes for a restorative posture. So maybe you could choose leg up the wall pose or Supta Baddha Konasana, and those are just suggestions. Any posture that, and maybe you're not in that mood. Maybe today you need to do a full back bend or a handstand. So you're really prepared in your body for just about anything. So allow any posture that would serve you to come into reality. Okay, so I'm going to set up for Supta Baddha Konasana, but you do whatever your body is asking for. Okay. Remember, props are available for you. If you are choosing to do a restorative posture, get warm if you need to get warm. It's very cold here in Colorado today, maybe not where you are, but if you find that you need more warmth, just grab an extra blanket. So any posture, any position, make sure you're supported, make sure you're able to breathe and allow yourself to rest. Even if you're doing something active like a handstand, can you find ease within the posture? So, because you're already, there's no rush. If you love the posture you're in and you want to stay there for Shavasana, by all means, stay. If you want to transition, you transition however you like. If you like to do a little happy baby or a twist, or just change into a different restorative posture, whatever feels really good to you is the best choice to be had. Shavasana is truly a gift, so try your best to stay as present for it as much as you can. Again, make sure you are warm. If you need to put socks on or anything else, take what you need. And as you feel like you begin to settle, check in. Is there anything disturbing you that you can remedy by a change of position or more support? And then as you are ready, just melt. Let your body receive the gift of Shavasana. What are you grateful for in this posture? Does your mind and your body feel content? Allow your breath to move gently through you. Ease and wait for your friends. Let's begin to deepen our breathing. Begin to move your body in any way that serves.
Eventually finding your way onto your side. And as you come to sit, bring your hands together at your heart. And even if you're not moving yet, and just being still, let's offer the gift of our practice, hopefully a sense of contentment that's cultivated. Can you share this with another? Namaste. Thank you, everyone.